And welcome to the Free Idea Podcast! Woo! Who knows where that woo came from, but I like to end it that way. And I'm happy to speak to you once again. Here I am on my way home in the traffic of Austin, Texas, the beautiful, most rich city of the Texas. Also the most strawberry city where all the rich people are. All the rich people. Because Austin is very rich. They got the rich people. You got that the house that is like all graffiti like destroyed completely. And then right next to that house you have an apartment complex that is newly made. And oh my god, we have a car crash again. Okay, so let me just merge right here. And then gonna merge one more time. And then we're free to go. What happened here? It looks like and the police is here. Oh, this is a fresh car crash. Lucky me. I was able to. Yep, lucky me. Free accident. What do you call first? I was one of the first people to be there, so I didn't see nothing. Only lucky me because it's barely when the police is like setting up and the trailer setting up and all that with the lights flashing everywhere. So it's kind of like, before traffic starts forming. Sorry about the person. It's not a crash. I said it was a car crash. It looked like one, but as I drove further, it looks like a cop stop. Looks like the cop just stopped somebody, or perhaps the car of that person just stopped working, and they call the cops, and I don't know. It didn't look like a crash though. I didn't see nothing. There was nothing destroyed. The car looked in perfect shape, and there was no two cars. There was only one car in the fast lane parking for some odd reason. But yeah, unlucky day for that person. Lucky me for avoiding that traffic. That would have been half an hour extra on my. Kind of reminds me of Europe when they have these trains, unlike the U.S. the free society, advanced first world country, of course. They got trains over there, and I heard from friends that people would kill themselves on these trains. Like they would throw themselves at the train tracks, and that was very sad, of course. But as these friends were telling me this story, instead of sounding sad about it, they sounded like annoyed because apparently when somebody kills themselves on the train tracks, the entire track has to stop, and then there's a lot of, let's say, train traffic. And yeah, it makes sense, they have to stop the train and do whatever they gotta do. And so it makes everybody get late at whatever they were going to. It's just like traffic, but in the trains. And so I found that particularly interesting when somebody kill themselves instead of the people being like, dang it, that's such a sorry thing to hear. They were like, dang it, I'm gonna be late at work. Why did he decide to kill himself today? Why not tomorrow? Why did he have to be the trains? Why not somewhere far away and jump from a bridge where he wouldn't cause traffic? I don't know. That's the idea I was getting from that. That was the attitude I was getting. Like, all right, I guess you don't feel sorry, but yeah, maybe that's why he killed himself because nobody cared about him to begin with, and they're like, and then you're not even worrying about him. You're just thinking about how it's making your traffic longer and how you're gonna get to your dinner an hour later, maybe to your grocery store to do your groceries. Gonna get to work late. Somebody just died, and all you care is how late you're gonna be. Honestly, that can't be too far from the U.S. whenever there's car crashes, because there's a lot of traffic. Every time there's a minor crash, like bumper to bumper hit, where there's no damage, but like a little bump, and they stop the entire traffic, and you get to that part, and it's like, oh my god, another car crash. Ugh. Yeah, but then you get a lot of traffic other times, and you're like, oh no, there's traffic, another car crash. But then you keep going, and then you see the most horrendous destroyed car in half and pieces everywhere, and your attitude change all of a sudden. You see these ambulances and these firefighters, and you're like, oh, oof. You no longer feel sad about the traffic or angry. I don't know if you do. Go get checked, but I don't. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a terrible day. Like my terrible day was traffic. His terrible day was causing the traffic. By probably getting ripped in two, and so I don't feel so bad anymore after that. I'm like, oh yeah, there's worse ways to have your day go. Like at least I'm not in that crash right there. At least it wasn't me. But yeah, that's terrible. That is terrible. And why are we talking about that? Because that's what I saw. This is podcast in traffic. Do-do-do-do-do-do. I should change the name instead of Free Idea Podcast. I should call it the Free Traffic Idea Podcast. Well, yeah. In Spanish, it doesn't sound so good. La idea traficante. No, yeah, gratis. No, that sounds very malicious. Traficante. I'm in traffic and I'm enjoying it. I'm out of work. And so, what is the free idea that I want to share with you? So, this is the idea that I want to share with you because, of course, this is called a free idea. So, let's stay on topic. I love to rant. I love it. It's very fun. But do you love to hear me? I hope so, but maybe not. I was thinking the last episode I did was ranting too much. And if somebody was spending half an hour of their time to listen to me, I hope they were like doing chores and washing dishes because I didn't really teach you anything that day. I just ranted. And it felt good. Really did. Amazing. I love it. Thank you. But everybody wants to rant. Everybody can rant. I can rant. So I'm thinking, what else can I give you that it's actual sauce? Something good. Something that if you listen, at least you won't feel just angry. Because, man, I was talking about politics and that stuff does make me angry all the time. So here's the lesson of today, the free idea that I'm going to give you for free. The idea is that whatever uh, you feed your mind is going to give you that fuel. So I feed my mind anger and shit and all this politics, and that's going to be my fuel. It's like if I eat a burger versus what else is kind of thick and healthy? Versus a smashed potato with gravy? I don't know. Both are kind of like heavy. A burger and a smashed potato with gravy. And let's say you eat the same quantity of smashed potato as the burger size. Well, you're gonna probably feel so sleepy on both because they're both heavy, but you're probably gonna feel worse afterwards with a burger. I'm just assuming because the burger is full of all this stuff that most likely is not a real burger. I guess I'm actually talking about McDonald's. Maybe like a combo versus mashed potato. Anyways, the point is that it's gonna give you shit energy. Maybe it's like the same thing, carbs, a lot of carbs, but it's not gonna be the same energy. You're gonna be tired next time. Tired quicker, or maybe lazier quicker, or for a longer period of time. So same thing with what you feed your mind and what I feed my mind. So I say, be careful what you feed your mind because it's what it will give you. It's what it will provide you with. So you feed your mind trash and it will give you trash. Do take care of what you put in your mind because believe it or not, or don't believe it, it affects you throughout your day. I've been there. The most genius person out there has been there. Just tough not to. Because you're like, it's so entertaining. Bad things are so entertaining. You know how I was just talking about car crashes and the person suicide and the train and all that? And I had plenty to talk about that. But I don't have plenty about positive things. I can tell you like a positive thing, but I cannot make it that long. Positive thing that happened today. Two classes were incredibly behaved. Three classes. Um, and then one was hell. And I could definitely go detail by detail in the hellish class, and I can say very little on the positive. I don't know, but yeah, be careful what you feed your mind. There's another thing that I wanted to share. According to following the same format of feeding your mind. Let's see. Well, can't think of it, but it'll come to me. For now, I have an illustration. For example, if you're a farmer, and as a farmer, you plant seeds of apples, and you water them, give them sun. When you come back, let's say in a year or two, you're gonna find trees, and these trees are gonna give you Ba-da-ba-da-ba-bum. Pears. It's gonna give you pears. What? That's what we usually expect with our mind. We feed it something, and we expect to get that something, but instead we get something else. So, for example, I the point is that you try to put apples and you get apples, but you get something else. Let's say oranges or pears, you get oranges or pears. Well, you're gonna get apples, right? If you put apples, you're gonna get apples. But oftentimes it's not like that. So when I watch the news, I try to get knowledge. I really try to get updated. I want to see what's happening in the world, and I want to feel smarter. I want to feel smarter and be like, what's going on? Can I hold a conversation with this? Can I have conversations with this? Is this gonna affect me? So and so. And so the seed that I'm trying to plant is the seed of knowledge and wisdom. But instead, what I get in return after watching so many news is I get angry and anxious about the future and hopeless that there's no future for us human beings. And that everything is dying and everything is crumbling, and everywhere in the news where you go is like, America's dying, all empires fall. And it's like, I remember when I saw that once in the first video ever from Joe Roginski, but now everybody's regurgitating, everybody just vomiting the same thing about the US falling, the Roman Empire and the American Empire is going bye-bye. So that's what I got in return. I was trying to plant the seeds of knowledge and wisdom by watching the news, and instead I got my fruits were anxiety, anger, and hopelessness. So you see, I tried to put apples on the ground and I got oranges. And I was looking for something sweet and I got a sour orange. So yeah, we often do that. So it's not as easy as just telling you, hey, well, careful with what you put in your mind, because what you put is what you're gonna get. It's not as easy because I really tried to put in my mind knowledge. And instead I got all the other stuff that was not knowledge. Maybe it came with it, but I don't feel smarter by knowing all that. Well, perhaps I feel more knowledgeable. I know more stuff, but it hasn't really helped me at all in life. So yeah, be careful. It's not the same. So maybe another example is it's in the quality of the stuff that we put in our minds. The quality rather than the quantity. For example, if I eat let's say two burgers. Right? Two burgers. And one burger is your typical McDonald's burger, and the other burger is an actual burger. McDonald's. It's an actual burger from let's say a little mm, trailer. Those little moving trailers that sell you food, and you can see that this meat actually crumbles. Like it's not a flat disc. It actually crumbles into what meat should look like. Shredded beef and all the ingredients, even the bread looks like bread, and it actually molds if you leave it out for like 2 days. Like McDonald's. And you eat this burger. So one person eats McDonald's, the other person eats the burger from the stand. And so even though both of you ate burgers, I would argue that the person who ate the burger from the stand is healthier because he ate a burger that was actually made out of burger. And the other person didn't. And so that's the quality. So the both ate shit, but it was good shit. One was good shit, the other one was bad shit. There you go. Simple summary with bad words for your adult mind, which I guess is what people are listening to me. Adults or teenagers who are older than maybe older than 16 or 15. Boy, I hear these 12-year-olds saying so many bad words. So many bad words than what I'm saying. When I say shit, does not compare to what they say. Oh, these people are infected by the TikTok. Talking about what they feed their minds. They feed their minds so much crap. So much crap. That what comes out of their mouth sounds like a 30-year-old, 40-year-old disgruntled person. Like a sour, like the sourest of the sourest 40-year-old that actually looks like a 60-year-old. It's like, it's bad what they say. It is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. Just like we spoke about that yesterday. It is what it is. And sometimes it is. So, that's my free idea for today. Careful with what you put in your mind. But also, don't beat yourself up for it because it's not easy to know um, what you should put in that mind. You want something and you put that something and you think you're gonna get this and you get that. You put this and you get that. You want these and you get those. you go up and you get down. So yeah, that happens a lot. Now, how can we make sure that what we're putting in it is of quality? Well, that I don't know. That's gonna be your journey to traverse, to find your adventure. What is actual quality? Well, you be the judge of that. So for me, if I were to, nope, I don't know. It's easy to see quality with food. It's easy because you can read the ingredient list on the back. And then that ingredient list, you can go into YouTube and search each one of those ingredients and see if it's healthy or not. But with this other stuff, not so easy. If I tell you the news, you want to be smart, either read the book or read the news. Does it make sense? If I say smart, maybe it makes sense to go for a book because that's more stable knowledge. And the news is always changing every single day. It's the news. It's what's up, what's new. So maybe knowledge is not there to be found. I mean, smartness. But knowledge in general, perhaps, but not. Current events, yes. That's what they call the news. But I think your job has to be affected by it for you to care. Because otherwise, why would you care about the news? They get you so depressed. Especially now. Everything is so depressing out there. It's bad. If you stop, and I can't stop, but if you stop watching the news, you'll see what a different world this becomes. And then you'll see right away who is watching the news too. You'll see by their attitude and by the words they pick when talking about a certain topic. It's like they're a silly, goofy person, and then all of a sudden they get into this topic and they're eloquent and sad and worried. And then you're like, wait a minute, where did this person come from? Is the same person I was talking to? And then I started talking about this politics topic, and he changed personality completely. Is that he just copied a personality right away? Uh, well, I forgot what I was talking about. I looked at this train. So the U.S. right now in Austin, they have a little tram. I wouldn't call this a train. It's a tram. It looks like a train, but it's so small, and it only goes straight. It doesn't do any single curve. No creativity in Austin. Just straight, and it does like 5 stops. And I was looking at it, and I felt sad for it. I felt sad because China's better and Europe is better. They're better. Oh, something positive that I want to share with you is, despite all this negativity of criticizing the U.S. that you see everywhere, here's the positive thing. We can criticize the US, and that is so positive because you can't in many other places criticize your own country. I mean, you can criticize the US in other countries, but you cannot criticize that of that country in particular. And that's very positive. I love that because we're the only ones who are trying to improve. Because when Americans criticize America, it's to improve it, not just to be sad about it. They want to improve it. They feel like they can, which is also great. The illusion of choice there, the illusion of changing something. We believe that we can change the US by just talking about it. Now we forget that we have to do stuff because we don't want to do stuff because the stuff that we're gonna do is revolution, and that's not nice. And then let's say you win the revolution, then what do you do next? Well, I don't know. What are you doing next? You sit at that desk at some fancy office, and then what do you do? Who do you call? What do you sign? You always hear about a bill was passed. How was it passed? From left to right? From up to down? Um, who wrote and what did they write and why signatures and who is gonna implement this? The who? The police? And how do I convince the police to follow my rules? What? And who'd I talk to? Because the police lives kind of far, and I want to go home and eat. Who'd I tell to go tell the police to follow my rules, to make the people follow my? You see how confusing and everything could be if you want to revolt and make your own way. So hella confusing. I used imagine starting from scratch. What do you do? And so yeah, right now we don't know what to do. Like Americanos don't know what to do. So we kind of just speak. That's all we do. We just speak, and we hope that somebody out there is listening who has the power and actually knows how to do the do. And so this often becomes the presidents, the campaigns, and all that stuff. And we put the hope into these presidents, and then we put the hope into these representatives. And here you go. I'm going into politics again. Anyways, my point was that we are criticizing ourselves, and that's always the first step to become a better person. Criticize yourself. Now you have to stop beating yourself up for no reason. At one point, you have to actually improve it, but it's a good start. Try that in Russia. I don't think you can. Try that in China. Definitely, they cannot. You cannot criticize the country as a way to improve it. You cannot. Now in China, you can criticize the Americans, yes, but you cannot criticize China in China. So that's what I like about here. This is very positive. Sure, we complain a lot and we're very negative right now. That's also because the presidential election is coming soon. I believe it's this November. And so, because it's coming soon, a lot of the politics start emerging. The closer it gets to that date, the more you hear about politics because politics. They want your attention, they want your marketing, they want your opinion and your vote. And then about a year after the elections, you start forgetting about it. The politics stop coming to you. They stop showing up in your TikToks and Instagram. They show here and there, maybe you're involved, but they kind of slow down. Maybe they slow down by the first year. By the second year, they slow down tremendously, and then they start picking up by the third year, and they're at their most at the fourth year when the president has to get reelected. So what was I saying? We criticize this country. Yeah, that's good. That is good. That's what I do like. Despite all the negativity going around, if I want to look at something positive, is that at least we are trying to change. And at least we have the illusion that we can change. It would be much worse if we did not have that illusion. Imagine being Russian. Like, but those poor guys most likely don't have the illusion of that of changing. Like, they don't even dream that they can change their country. I don't think so. Because the election of President Putin was happening, and before they even started the election, I knew who was gonna win. It was gonna be him. He was gonna win. I knew it. I was like, yeah. What if I could? If this was the stock market and I could put some money into it, I would go all in and put my money on Putin. Like he's gonna be the winner of the presidency. And guess what? 3 days later or something, they announced that the winner is him with like 87% of the votes or something. And then they show videos of like police beating up people that don't want to vote for Putin at the voting booth. Which one is true, right? All these videos can be fake or real nowadays. But what is not real is that 87% after, I don't know, what, 25 years of leading the country. It's like, of course, I know he's gonna win. So, if you're like, if you're like me and you're 27 and Putin has been like president for 25 years, he's been pretty much president my entire life, and he's been elected what, like I don't know, 6 times or so or more. 8 times, who knows? And so I wouldn't have any hope for anything. My only hope would be that he would eventually reach the age of old and death comes for him, and we can finally have a different person who most likely will do the same thing. So, natural death of age. Thank goodness we don't live forever. If we did live forever, it'll be very different. It'll be a strange system, but we don't. So that would be my hope if I was Russian. I don't think I would be thinking that I can change my country, that I can improve my country, that I can. No. I think I'll be like, it is what it is. We got a leader, and that's all. And maybe we're just gonna try our best, and hopefully things improve and he does good things. In the US, at least you have that illusion. Why do I call it illusion? Because they say it's a democracy, but once you vote for these people and these people get the job, they don't get out. And they can see what you want as the people, and they don't have to do it. They don't, which is incredible. They can be like, yeah, I see everybody here wants to get free popcorn, but I say no. And that happens. And so that doesn't feel like a democracy to me. Democracy is people making decisions, the people have the power, but no, not really. But yeah, because it can just get. But what if we actually had a democracy like the internet? It kind of gets really weird too. When you have a true democracy, like in Facebook, when they ask you to vote for something, I don't know. What should we name our boat? This was a true event. What should we name our boat? And they went to the internet and they made this post. Whoever is the first comment with the most likes, that's what we're gonna name our boat. And guess who won? The most silly name of all. Booty McBootyface. Booty McBootyface or something like that. Boat McBoatface. That's the name that won the first place. And so what? Is that how they're gonna name it? Probably because it's funny. But then there's another thing where there's like a drawing contest. Draw this dog, and it's normal picture of a dog. So whoever draws it the best gets to win. Okay, the drawings are in. I don't know, 5 drawings or so, 10, and the people vote on the number one spot. And well, I'll tell you who was second place. Second place was an ultra realistic picture of the dog. It was an incredibly well drawn picture that takes an artist years of practice to do, with shadows and all the details. Incredible realistic picture. And then the first place was like Picasso, like a child who drew the outline of the dog in a single line and made it so silly, and it looked so lack of effort that it was so funny that it won first place. And that's the one that won first place. And he was amazing. It was so funny. I think the only reason why that was such a great choice is because he had the second choice, which was the ultra realistic drawing. That drawing made the first one look so funny and made you laugh and was like, haha, what a funny thing. Yeah, let's make this one win first place because the second one is incredible. Let's make the first one, which is like an outline of a kindergartner, win first place. And so that's democracy for you right there. That's democracy. And that's people voting and actually getting what they voted for. Now imagine doing that with a country. You get some of the silliest rules. You would get some of the silliest shit. And so I understand why we have a person who we vote for, and then that person can be like, yeah, I'll do that. Or he can be like, nah, y'all are dumb. I know a better way. I get it. My criticism here is that they tend to say no a lot to a lot of things that, you know, people actually want. And it's weird. Maybe they know something I don't, and that's why I always like I try to tell myself, maybe they're not that they're smarter, because they're not. They just know something else that I don't know. They have access to a certain information that I don't. For example, they know that if they do as the people want, something else is going to happen afterwards that is bad. And this is something I've learned after being a teacher. When a student wants to sit however they want in their chair, I didn't care in the beginning because I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Just sit however you want. Just do the work. I don't care. Lay down if you want, as long as you do the work. Who cares? And so I let it happen. And then what ends up happening afterward with a lot of more of that is that the student becomes unruly because he feels like he can sit however he wants, so it's kind of chill. So maybe he's gonna throw a little bit of unruly behaviors in there, and you let that happen a little bit. It's what it is, and then eventually that student will be falling asleep or doing some random thing in the most random position, like I don't know, laying on the floor, or laying on two chairs, or who knows what. And all of a sudden, that simple behavior that you did not stop in the beginning, and it looks unfair, like, hey, teacher, why should I sit upright? Like, come on, I'm doing my work. And you allow it. It evolves into something much more drastic, and it's hard now to bring them back because you've been allowing it for so long, and now you have to rip up the bandage and you have to tell them, don't do it like that anymore. Don't lay like that. Don't sleep. Don't be this behavior that you're giving me. Come on, I've been too good to you, and you're not reciprocating, and that's what you get. And so I am sure that this happens in any leadership position. If a leader allows the people to do something, the smallest thing, they will eventually start taking advantage here and there, and then more and more and more and more and more and more until it becomes something very hard to stop. And so politics has to be so similar to that. Once you allow something, something else will evolve. And it will get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And I see why a lot of politicians are very careful with allowing certain things because of that stuff. Well, yeah, and unfortunately, that also has happened with laws because there's some laws that they allow that are pretty bad, and they get worse, and then get worse, and they get worse, and they get worse, and they never fix them. So the other way is also there, and one of those is the crime in California, which is like people just stealing because they can steal, and the stores allow it, and so now they just keep stealing, and it's gonna get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse until they keep stealing some more, and then the stores have to close, and then people have to leave, and then there's crime, and then there's homeless, and there's so much stuff. And so yeah, as a leader, here's another free idea. If you stuck to this, it was pretty long, but I enjoy these long conversations. Here's the other free idea. Um, as a leader, whenever you're in that position, and you will be, because there's many, Mm, if you allow a behavior to happen once, it will happen again. And when it happens again, you will allow it again. And it will be great if it keeps happening that way. But if the behavior gets worse, happens again, but a little bit worse, and you allow it, it will happen again next time, and it will get much worse. And if you allow it, it will keep going down, down, downhill, spiraling down if you allow this behavior. And so one thing that seemed okay eventually will be too big, and you'll be like, how did we get here? How are they behaving like this? What did I do wrong? And well, what you did wrong is probably not addressing it when it was a very small little thing. And I know it felt unfair if you did address it at that time. It felt unfair, but that's the result. That's the free idea. As a leader, whenever you don't address something, it will happen again. And if it goes wrong, it will get worse. And if it gets worse and you don't address it, it's gonna keep getting worse. Worser. And so, yeah, that's it. Nothing too crazy. But I've learned that the hard way. And so I give the politicians of now a lot of a lot of understanding. I give the bosses a lot of understanding now. I get it. I get it. I try not to be that way. But even as an employee, I've become that sometimes when I can get away with something, and I keep getting away with it, and I keep increasing my chances and being more careless, and yeah, that has happened to me as well. Example, because I always like to give examples, is I let my students play some games after they finish their work. And at first it was like 10 minutes, sure, this and that. And then I have to take it away because we have work to do because we're busy. And now they start fighting back. They say, oh, but we've always played. Okay, cool, blah, blah, blah. This happens a couple more times. I'm like, okay, they're doing their work and this and that. It keeps happening. One day, um, we get hit with some very heavy work because the test is coming. And now they have this very bad routine of playing games for more than 10 minutes because I've been allowing it for too often that it's messing up with the routine. Instead of 10 minutes, it's like 15, and sometimes it's 20, and who knows. Now I'm making it up. I don't actually do that, but I don't do it for like that long. But I'm facing this challenge now that they're used to their 10 minutes of playing or 15, and they don't want to do anything anymore when the clock reaches a certain time. And they don't know that I was actually given this as a reward for their hard work and perseverance. But when we have to work extra hard because it's what the times demand, they cannot adjust or they fight it back. And then it puts me in that position of wait. Listen up. First of all, I'm breaking the rules. I'm not supposed to let you play as a teacher. And I am. And I was doing this to make you happy. But now, it seems like I'm making you even angrier that I'm taking it away because we gotta study harder right now. So maybe I should have just never allowed you to play at all in the first place, and you would have been angry at me in the very first time and the first couple times. But eventually, this would be your normal. And when I rank up the workload, you wouldn't have complained that much or at all. You'll be like, yeah, this is normal. Yeah. So, very interesting. It's the balance of being a leader. Sometimes you're a very good person, but being good gets taken advantage of or it becomes the norm. And so when you're not good, when you're just good, then they get angry at you. I mean, you're still good, but you're just not good. It's I know you're understanding what I'm saying. Sometimes the words in my mind get spoken before I understand them. I just pick them. It's a lot of wisdom coming out of me, and can't understand it very fast or explain it in such a way that everybody understands, or even me. But I know somebody out there understood that. Just beware. I'm giving you a couple free ideas for free. Maybe one day I'll start selling something, selling some products. What if I did sell a product? Now this is the fun part. The free idea is over. Maybe I'll come up with another one. But let me just tickle my pickle for a moment. What would be a product if I could sell a product? Let's say I get famous, just for fun. Who would be the first person to reach out to sell their product? What would it be? Definitely something about shave. They always throw their shaving stuff. I know that wouldn't make sense, but I know what would make sense. A book. Probably if I started advertising books like Audible. I love that because I use it. So I would love to sponsor Audible and give me a percentage off or something. Money. I love it. I use it on my daily routes when I'm hit with heavy traffic instead of the podcast. I used it so much that I am annoyed and I don't use it anymore. There you go. Your anti-advertisement. I use it too much. I got annoyed with how much I was listening to a monotone speaker reading a book. So I'm taking a break from that. What's another product that I would love to that would make sense for me to advertise? Computers, gaming computers would make sense for me to advertise. I love computer components and I could advertise the website that sells computers already made. Because yeah, there is a either you can learn how to make a computer or you can pay somebody to build it for you an extra couple monies and then you don't have to learn anything because a lot of stuff goes into building one like this piece has to be compatible with that piece and you don't even know that, and you have to check it, and you have to study it, and you have to learn, and all that takes time. And if all you want to do is have a very powerful computer, but with more time to play games, so just buy one that is already made. That would be great. Yes, you'll pay more if as opposed to you building it, but if you don't not interested in building one, so just buy it. You're not interested in buying an Xbox or a PS5, um, sure, just buy a computer that is made, that is very expensive, and you know it's gonna be great because somebody else built it. That's one product. So books and computers would be a product I could advertise. A grocery store, I would love to advertise HEB. I love HEB, really do. My uncle works at that place for like more than 30 years, and he's always been thankful of it. I don't work at it, but I like what they do. I really do. Before it was just a store, but now they're really, really doing a lot. They have like a wine section and a bread section, and the bread now they're baking their own bread. Like, I know a lot of people now are like baking their own bread, but like now you don't have to. They bake it for you fresh. I know that's the job of a bakery, but they're actually coming up with breads from Germany, like formulas. What do you call these formulas? Recipes? Recipes from France, from Germany, from Europe, for making bread. And that's so amazing. And then they got the tortillas, the Mexican ones. They make it. There's some HEVs that have that tortilla machine. The machine, the one that I used to go to, this massive machine that always makes some squeaky noise as they made tortillas. But now they have it like in a small, still big, but small form. And it makes tortillas, and they make them out of flour. And they have them there like so warm and soft. That's just incredible. Like, wow, I thought I would never get those tortillas in America. I thought I would get them in Mexico only, but they are here in America. And so I love what they're doing. And then they got their sushi, and they got the frozen meals that you can buy, and then they got all the Chibi branded stuff, which is always of high quality, and most of the time it's high quality and very good price point. Right now, I feel like we're at the golden age of HEB. This is it. There's no way up from here. I mean, they can go up and up, but eventually they have to fall. And this is it. This is the golden age where they're going up, and it's incredible. And then they have the barbecue area, and the barbecue never fails. So good and consistent. Whoever they're hiring, thank you. Whoever is the chef out there, thank you. That meat is so good. That barbecue, and it's a good price point. Again, I've gone to barbecues here in Texas that are um very old, as in like 30 years of experience type of thing. Like we've been in business since 1794, something like that. And they're expensive, and they're okay, but they're not. And then I go to HEV, and it tastes so much better, and the price is better. And sometimes doesn't have to taste better. The price just has to be better, and then I'm like, oh, somehow magically now it tastes better, since it makes my wallet heavier. It makes it taste better for some reason. So yeah, that's what they got going on. And then they got the plant section, which I'm not a plant person, so I can't say anything about that. But at least they got plants. I think I like Walmart when it comes to plants more, or Home Depot. I think Home Depot is, but I haven't been there in so long. But at least they got some plants during time. Yeah, they got some plants, which is cool. They got everything. And the interesting part is that it's not every HEB has the same thing. They kind of try to spice it up. So I know an HEB that has a tortilla maker. Not every HEB has it. In fact, only one that I know of, like five that I've visited here. There's an HEB that has a barbecue. Not all of them do. And then there's an HEB that has a chicken. Instead of a barbecue, they sell chicken. Like a whole section just for chicken. And then there's a HEB that has like a cafe with pizza, which is a very odd combination. Um, yeah, I would love to advertise HEB. I mean, I'm doing it for free right now. But if you're in Texas, you know HEB. You don't really need to be advertised HEB. You know it. You have the typical ones. You have Walmart, you have HEB. I mean, if you grew up poor like me, not even poor, but good middle ground, middle poor type. Walmart, HEB, Home Depot, Academy, Ross, Melrose, all these stores. It feels almost like there's only 5 stores in Texas and that's it. And then everything else is just variations of that. So I know in other places, other states probably have different stores, but yeah. And then we got gas stations here that are incredible. I probably advertise a gas station. Well, but not gas. A station, yeah, but not the gas. I find it very weird when they give you these credit cards for gas that I really don't care about because I'm not like that. I just go to whatever gas station is close to me and I just pay them the bill. Um, I don't like to go to a gas station that is like 5 minutes away just because it's 2 cents cheaper. I'm like, yeah, I'll pay 2 cents more because the convenience of it. And they know it. They know it. But also, why do they have to have 4 gas stations in one corner? Why do we have to have the gas station mafia? That I don't understand. America will eventually has have to close those gas stations because it's too much. It's too silly. It's really too silly. They'll have to like close at least 3 of them or two and leave one. Kind of like the Dollar Tree. I believe they're closing a lot of Dollar Trees this year or next year. But also, come on, they have like what 3 Dollar Trees in the same road. Sometimes like not even 2 minutes away from each other. Like yeah, of course, like, close them, please. I don't get it. Why did you decide to build one right next to the other? I know it's part of the law that you have to do it that way, but the law is weird in that sense. That's dumb. But I guess it just makes everything more orderly. That's something that I found out about the US. They love their order in the systems, and I don't blame them. Having systems makes everything so convenient. I copy that a lot in my classroom where we have systems no matter what. Even if sometimes they don't make sense, just keep the system going. Because most of the days it does make sense. Maybe there's one day that it doesn't, but just keep it going for the rest of the days that it does. Um, yeah, I don't think I have more free ideas. What else could I advertise? So there's a gas station, maybe a gas station. There, I love them. I love which gas station? 7-Eleven, pretty good. Quick Trip, amazing. It has super nice bathrooms and humongous variety. I love the new gas stations that are coming up now here in Texas, which it has this red star with the T for Texas. I don't even know what it is. It's like what Texas Gas or something. And they got some very beautiful stations in there. Very modern. I love the stations that have the tacos, the ones with the ladies that are just making it there. And it's always ladies for some reason. They know how to make it. And the sauces, oh, they're so good. I remember when gas station food was bad. Gas station food was just a reheated hot dog that keeps rolling on the same machine for hours until you buy it. Um, Now gas station food is like actual restaurant food. It's a person that actually cooked it or is cooking it right there for you. Now that's some interesting quality that I really enjoy. That gas station food is pretty good. Nothing to be ashamed for. Huh. What else could I advertise? So books, knives. I love knives, but not that much. But I like knives. I like sharp knives. I could definitely advertise knives. I sharpen my own knives, so I like them. I'm not a knife person where I know too much about them. I just like when they're sharp and they look cool. Or even if they look simple as hell, but they're super sharp forever or something like that. I like that. Guns. Um, I would love to sell guns. Uh, Such a strange fantasy that I have of selling guns. But I don't think I'll ever do it because it's kind of like the fantasy of being in the military. That also stopped me because if I'm in the military, that means that at some point I'll have to be okay with killing. Even I don't want to. I have to be okay with killing. Um, just because I want to be in the military and run around with guns and do this and be deployed and all this. Like, I have to kill. So no, I don't think I want to. Um, Same for guns. I'd love to sell guns, but I don't think I'll be okay with the idea of maybe I sell 10 guns. Nine of those are going to people that actually use it for hunting and doing nice things and defending their home and whatever. And then one person uses to kill somebody or to commit killing a lot of people, more than one. And then I'm like, yeah, I don't think I could live with that. I just like the fantasy of opening a case like the movies or opening a trunk and it's just a bunch of guns and they all sound pretty crunchy. You want the XL 34578, and you're like, yeah. Oh well, you may want to need something with a little bit more power, and then just do more crunchy sounds. And then each one of those metal crunchy things gives me like $500 or something, and that sounds like a cool fantasy. But probably what it's gonna be used for, not so good. Well, yeah, like I tell you, maybe 10 people buy it, 9 people use it for the right things, and then that one person uses it for the wrong thing. I'll feel some type of way. Maybe not so bad if it's one person. I'll be like, hey, you know what? Freedom. You choose whatever you choose. 9 people didn't choose that path. The other person did, so that's his fault. But maybe if like 3 people choose that path, the wrong one, then I'll be like, yeah, maybe I should stop doing this. Maybe I don't know. I could keep fooling myself around if it's very lucrative, but just a fence. I don't think I would advertise guns. Maybe, but I don't know. What's something else that I could advertise? Home buying, apartments. I'm just naming things that I'm looking at right now. Schools. Um, who goes next? Me or you? I guess you. All right, we're fighting here a little bit. Here we go. We're in the stop sign. Schools, gyms, jobs, running. I'm just naming stuff. Plans. Firefighters. Uh, weights. Weights. I could do something with workouts or health. Maybe not vitamins. That's such a sketchy one. Anything health related is always so sketchy. Uh, stock market. That's also sketchy sometimes, but I guess I could do a stock market. I like it. I do it. Um, yeah. Well, I'm arriving home, and I had my fun talking. Kind of stretched it out for no reason other than keeping myself busy here during the car ride. If you if you're still here, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did, and you got a couple free ideas to go. I remember 2 of those. Hopefully, you just figured out another one. Thank you for listening, and talk to you soon. Bye bye.